Today my guest is Stephen Walther. Stephen, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you.
What do you do?
That's pretty personal, I think.
For a living, I mean.
For a living. So I own a software consulting company called Super Expert, and we provide training on ASP.NET MVC, JavaScript, HTML5, and Metro applications. So, and we also maintain the Ajax control toolkit for Microsoft, and we're building several large MVC applications right now.
Oh, cool. Let's talk about that toolkit. Now, so I just assumed that it was the Microsoft toolkit, and therefore Microsoft was maintaining it.
Yeah.
And that used to be true.
Yes.
But it's no longer true. They subcontracted to you.
So the story behind the Ajax control toolkit is complicated. It's always been a community project hosted at Codeplex, but it's also been always an extraordinarily popular project. It's the most popular Codeplex project of all time. It's had over 7 million. Yeah, it's amazing the number of downloads. It gets on average it's had over 3,500 downloads a day.
Wow.
That's a day. Over its history. Now it's gone down low. It's still over 3,000 a day. So that's 3,000 developers downloading that thing a day. So it's consistently been the top-rated Codeplex project. Occasionally, World of Warcraft, these plugins will beat it for a few months, but it's been just about every web forms developer is using it.
So it's on Codeplex. Can anyone contribute to it, or just you?
So it is a open source project. So anyone can make a pull request. And so if you have a new feature that you want to add into it, we integrate pull requests all the time. We also do it through issues. If you're more comfortable just taking your code and zipping it up and creating a new issue on the Codeplex issue tracker, we also integrate those things.
Okay, so you're basically the gatekeeper.
We are the
what
gatekeeper.
Gets integrated, what does not.
Every open source project has to have a gatekeeper.
Okay.
Or it's just chaos.
I see. What kind of stuff is in the Ajax toolkit?
It has now a set of 43 controls. There are all sorts of things. There's modal pop-ups, there's autocomplete, there's combo box. If you really need a combo box for your ASP.NET Web Forms application, Ajax Control Toolkit is the place to go. There's a rich text editor in it if you need a rich text editor. That's easy to set up. There's a C-Dragon control if you need deep zoom. Implement it completely in JavaScript. The C-Dragon control is very cool. It allows you to take a super detailed picture, and it will allow you to load it up immediately, and then you can zoom in. It does Ajax calls in the background. It actually pulls up high resolution versions of it. So there's all sorts of amazing things you can do with it. If you want to learn what you can do with it, I'd suggest going to the sample site for it, and it just has a sample for all the 43 controls, and go through and play with them live online.
Very cool. I saw your presentation here at Dev Connections,
Yeah.
and I was surprised to see some of the controls had nothing to do with Ajax.
Yeah, it confuses a lot of people. Yeah, the naming's a little strange, but really by Ajax, you're supposed to say, quietly to yourself, JavaScript. It's actually the JavaScript control toolkit. But so most of the controls don't do Ajax calls. The idea is that most of them have JavaScript functionality built into them.
Okay. Are they all built to run under web forms?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's purely a web forms project.
So it wouldn't work in an MVC project?
No.
Would it work in SharePoint?
It depends on the version of SharePoint, but you can use it with SharePoint. People have used it with SharePoint.
Okay. You can see what I've been working on lately.
Yeah, it's
my day job is very SharePointy, and then all
yeah.
my night stuff I'm doing is MVC stuff.
Yeah, MVC is a lot more fun.
I like it better. But, there's a lot of web forms out there.
Yeah.
What's the most popular controls?
The most popular calendar control.
How's that work? Tell me a little bit about that.
So you add focus into a text box, pops up a calendar. The calendar control was created by a person who wanted to make an exact copy of, in Windows when you go down to the tray on the bottom right and click on the date, and it opens it up.
Right.
And if you've ever spent a lot of time playing with that, it does a lot of fancy animations. So you go up to the year and the month, and you can navigate. It's a nice control. So the calendar control does all of that. So it actually does the animations when you go up between the different views, the year view and the month view, and it's a nice control. One of the new features we added into the calendar control in the last release is we added support for date ranges. So if you want to only allow a person to select a date in between, a certain start and end date, you can now do that with the calendar control.
Okay, I think there is a control in the toolbox itself, just in the ASP.NET toolbox.
Yeah, there's a server side.
It's not quite as JavaScripty as.
No.
making it worse as I
The
go.
standard calendar control is it just renders out a server-side calendar. No
Okay.
interaction. Yep.
Okay. Tell me a couple other controls. Let's just go through a few.
Oh,
of them.
yeah. Let's see. So calendar control is super popular. Autocomplete obviously is popular if you
Okay.
want to create that Google Suggest-like experience for people.
I know there's two kinds of autocompletes I've seen.
Yeah.
One is where you provide a list, the list is there.
Yeah.
And you're basically incrementally searching that list.
Yeah.
The other one is where every time you type a key, it's going out and doing some kind of Ajax call.
Yeah.
And getting at that. Does this support both of those?
So there's a combo box control,
Okay.
and the combo box control can also be used to do autocomplete.
Okay.
And that's for a scenario where you want to load all the data and just
Okay.
have it filter the way you're talking about. The autocomplete control does an Ajax call as
that
you're
is very
typing.
cool.
Yeah. Let's see, what else is in there? The HTML editor, rich text. It's that we introduced a new one a couple releases ago. The new one is very, very lightweight, takes advantage of the HTML5 content editable attribute, and allows you to customize it, so you can pick which toolbar buttons should it be, whether it should only have bold or italic or whatever.
Okay.
don't
If I
know,
put
it's
that in a
like-
form and
yeah.
submit the form, what gets submitted? Is it HTML, a string of HTML?
So what it has to do, because there's request validation, right? So what it
Okay.
does is it HTML encodes it before it posts it back to the server, and then it DHTML encodes it back
Okay.
on the server side. But then it's designed to work with the anti-XSS library, so that will strip out any dangerous JavaScript or HTML.
Okay, so it's a string of HTML encoded, or HTML decoded. I
Yeah.
can't remember which is which, but
Yeah.
so it's a single string. with a
Yeah,
bunch
it
of,
gets it does a post just like a normal text box would.
Okay.
But the tricky thing is, you want to an HTML editor is basically a big invitation to attack your website.
Right.
Because it's a big invitation with JavaScript injection attacks. So we spend a lot of time making sure that worked great with the anti-XSS library. If you need to create a public website, creating an internal website, as long as you trust your coworkers, you probably don't care.
Right. Okay. All right. That's a good sampling of it. It's on GitHub.
It is. Actually, no, it's not on GitHub. It's Codeplex.
Oh, Codeplex. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Codeplex, and it's also
Microsoft.
on NuGet. So
Oh,
install dash package, Ajax Control Toolkit. Fastest way to get it. I think it's one of the most popular downloads now for web forms on NuGet.
Okay.
So,
That's probably the easiest way to get into Visual Studio.
absolutely, yeah.
All right. Where can people find out more about Stephen Walther?
StephenWalther.com.
Stephen Walther, thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.